What up, everybody? How y'all doing? Man, it's this last week was so good. It was so fun to begin sharing these, and had a great weekend with my family. Just getting to hang out with my brothers, uh, getting to celebrate my dad's like 60th birthday. Um, yeah, it's just been really good times, and family's going to be a lot of what I want to talk about today, because if you notice in the title, the origins of a people pleaser, it's kind of where that all begins. The thing of being a people pleaser, of living for others, never setting boundaries, uh, never giving yourself goals, but kind of carving out space at all times, every day, for anyone and everyone else. And it leads to, there's it can just be so unhealthy. There are a lot of pros. There's a lot of emotional intelligence. There's a lot of agreeability, patience, understanding. Um, there are a lot of pros, but there are also a ton of personal problems. Like there's a ton of anxiety, a ton of personal stress, a ton of, feeling like you've let everyone down, like you've let yourself down, even getting to the point of understanding who yourself is. It can be tough. But I think nine out of 10 times, it's typically the the baby of the family is gonna be the most agreeable. And I can already hear my older brothers being like, "Fuck you, like you already get everything, and like you had it better than us, and all that." Of course, there's truth to that. Of course, I got the most experienced version of my parents. I'm going to get it measurably better. Like in some way, there's just no denying it. All babies, shout out to the babies. Every baby in every family, you're getting a better product of your parents than your older siblings did. That's totally the case. I 100% agree with that. But what makes the baby agreeable in the first place is what makes it so hard to be the baby. And the fact of the matter is that my parents, our parents, all inherited bullshit and trauma and broken, rusty tools, and are fragile because of that. All of our parents have some measure of fragility. And if you're dealing particularly with parents that are a little narcissistic, a little more self-interested than you'd like, if you're dealing with parents that are a little quick to anger, a little bit explosive, easily offended, defensive, don't take criticism well at all. In fact, never, hardly ever apologizes for anything. If you're dealing with parents like that, then that first sibling, that oldest child, gets that raw high, the youngest, most inexperienced version of that brokenness. They greet that high, like that's what they get introduced to, right? Then the next sibling comes along, the next sibling, the next sibling, all however many kids you got in your family, right? The baby of the family doesn't deal with just the fragility of the parents. I now deal with the fragility of the oldest, the middle, blah, 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 blah. And if you're like me, who had not just a nuclear family, but a nuclear extended family, we brought in strays. We brought in cousins and uncles and aunts and random kids who just needed whose lives were way worse than ours. Like, you're gonna become pretty damn agreeable, just as a coping mechanism, just in order to navigate all the dynamics that come from everyone's brokenness, you are going to, like, it's typical, the typical thing of the baby is that they're quote unquote the favorite, or the good one, or the one that gets what they want at the very least. Not necessarily always good. The reason they're going to be able to get all that is because they are going to have the emotional intelligence by the end of it to know where everyone's at and basically how to manipulate everybody, essentially. And if you're a decent person, you just kind of hold that bag of tricks and leave it, and try your best not to do that, not to push people's buttons, and not to, seduce everyone into getting your way, if you're a halfway decent person. Otherwise, babies can be real assholes as a result. They can weaponize all of that and become really terrible people. But the cost of that is pretty harsh, and stressful, and induces a lot of anxiety, because you grow up around all these angry people. I'm one of the quietest, chillest dudes I know. I love peace. I love peace so much. I hate being around anger and toxic, loud energy. I can't stand that, because that's what I was around most of my childhood. Our family would get together, all the extended family. We had barbecues every weekend, and it was just uncles and aunts and parents and adults yelling about the world, like fucking hating Bill Clinton, fucking hating the work. They all worked at the same place, so you can imagine. It's one thing for everybody to awkwardly be like, they all worked at the same truck stop, so they all fucking had the same shit to say, and they just played it over and over again, and that's what we heard every weekend. Needless to say, I liked to play outside as a result of that. But, it's not the babies every time. I think there's also special cases. I had one of my best and closest friends ever. She was the oldest of 6 kids, and I've never met anyone as close to my level of agreeability and emotional intelligence as her. But she was the oldest. And I think that takes shape and form in the case when a parental role kind of needs to be filled. The oldest can really become that level of like managing everyone's emotions and caring and really kind of being real spot on with, again, as a coping mechanism, because they're kind of filling in an unhealthy way the parental role that's missing in some kind of way. And now this girl she's gone on to get her master's and degree in sociology, and now she does posts about people pleasing, and she has brilliant insight into all this now, and it's really cool to see her grow and kind of conquer those demons that have plagued her. Because I understand. I think there are a lot of really cool qualities to being a people pleaser, obviously. But no, I mean, you take on the stress of everyone, and you no longer set appropriate boundaries for yourself. It makes it damn near impossible to say no to anyone. And one of the biggest red flags and problems is I will self-isolate, I will, because I would choose neutrality over negativity 10 out of 10 times. My form of saying no is saying nothing. My form of saying no is saying nothing at all. in my most default and weakened state. Obviously, I'm working on myself, and obviously, I'm taking steps to kind of get past that. But in the past, and for a very large portion of my life, my default setting has been passive. Just like, okay, I can't resolve this, so I'm not going to do anything. Like, because if this can't be mediated, if this can't be resolved amicably, with everyone winning on every side, then there is no fight. You know what I mean? Then there is no then I don't care to do this. Like I that was a big reason. My late wife and I we had moved away after I left the church because we were both people pleasers, and it was so incredibly difficult to one, feel like villains, like to feel like bad guys even though we weren't, to feel that way whether we were or not. We perceived our anxiety was drummed up. In some cases, I am a bad guy to some people. I know that, like they've told me, but in most cases that wasn't it. That wasn't. We were loved. We were just misunderstood. But we couldn't handle our own internal perception of external of how people were possibly thinking of us, and the anxiety that was too much. And so we moved away, and first we moved to Austin, still within the state of all our family and friends, but then we made a huge leap to Seattle, Washington, and that was the big move that really cut off ties essentially from everyone, and we kind of just did our own thing. There were some awesome benefits to that, and it was by and large a pretty great life for a little bit there, but it was done in an unhealthy place, and so I now only regret that decision. My late wife, she was very sheltered, and her only real friends in the world were her family, and so her being away from her family was in retrospect devastating and a really bad idea. And for that, if any of her family ever gets to see this, I'm really sorry for the part I played in us leaving. I did play a part, and I'm truly sorry for that. But it was nice to have the peace, though. It was, and we got away from everything. It was an unhealthy peace. It was a codependent peace, but it was peace, and it was nice. In retrospect, I wish we had reconciled with everyone. I wish we had reached out, been more sociable, and just, I don't know, asked for the help to understand these things about each other as a family unit. I wish I'd been more self-aware at that time about what I needed, about these issues, about being a people pleaser, coming to terms with that. No one wants to hear that, but if you grow up your whole life living sacrificially for others, you convince yourself that's a purely good quality. That's no, that's only a good thing. But then it plays out in how airlines, like, before the flight takes off, they give you the little pamphlet, they go over the instructions, and when the oxygen mask drops, you're supposed to put that mask on yourself first, and that's antithetical, right? For a people pleaser, that's like, not, you don't treat yourself first, you don't care about yourself first, But in that case, if that happens, if you go to put on oxygen to someone else first, you pass out in the progress. Now you've killed two people, yourself and your loved one. So, and that scenario plays out in real life. If you are a people pleaser, like, please know that if you don't love yourself and take care of yourself and accept yourself and treat yourself, then you are not going to be in the position to care for others the way you desperately want to, the way that you must, like, because it's just built in now. Like, if you love people that much, then you must take care of yourself. You must do the basic, boring, mundane bullshit every day. Brush your teeth, take the shower, clean, keep things clean. Give yourself peace of mind. Carve out space for yourself, time for yourself, especially if you're an introvert like me. I love people, but I get drained, by them. Being an introvert is like a whole separate thing, but it really plays into if you really want to care for people and see the best in others, then you have to dial down, stop living so sacrificially that you deprive yourself of basic needs and basic wants. Guess what? You can have those. Like, it's okay. It's okay to treat yourself. It's okay to love every inch of the skin that you're in, and that's really hard to do when you've been so convinced. And then for me, Christianity came along, and of course my idol was going to be the savior of the world that accomplished such a feat by being mocked and murdered and allowing himself to be murdered. Not just being murdered, allowing himself to be murdered. Yeah, so that guy's going to be my hero, of course, but that's, so those kinds of influences only, added to the pile, and this sense of like, no, this is the right thing, is to be so sacrificial to the extent that, it does harm to yourself. But the way out I'm kind of finding is by that one thing you're thinking of that you feel like you might be perceived as an asshole for saying, but must be said regardless. Like, you just have to bite the bullet and say it. If your loved ones are encroaching to a point that it brings you stress and unease and hurts you, then you must say something. You must. And you have to be able to say, hey, like, I really don't like that you're saying that. Like, that bothers me. When someone, I'm so notorious. Like, people ask me to, hey, come with. Like, hey, we're going over here and doing this. And what I've had to learn how to do is go, no, I don't want to. Like, not no, I'm like, and then come up with a lie, busy about these things, not no, or not like ignoring them entirely, or not like, hiding somehow or running away, like going on an errand, instead of answering later on, like, oh, I'll get back to you on that, and then just fucking bailing, Irish goodbye style. But just saying no, I didn't get enough notice, or maybe if you told me sooner that y'all had planned to do that, maybe I'd go with you. But no, either that or just frankly, no, I just don't want to. I'd rather not do that. And you're just gonna have to watch the eyebrow raise and deal with it, and just be like, yeah, maybe they took that personal. Like, yeah, maybe they had the best of intentions wanting to hang out with you today. But you know what? Like, if you weren't ready for it, if you weren't thrilled, and honestly, if you had other things to do, if you were frankly busy, just say no. It's okay. Like, no, thank you. Like, I would rather not, because I want to do something else instead. Like little dumb things like that. That, I don't know, for everybody else, maybe that's not a big deal. But when, God, it sucks to feel like you let people down, like you hurt people, like you disappoint them in some kind of way. That's such a bummer, and who wants that? Everybody wants peace of mind. Everybody wants, like, just a good life, But, I don't know. It's just, it's those little things that kind of tack on and pile up, asking, and being volunteered for things, because eventually it builds a habit. Like, you have to teach people the way that you want to be treated. So if you lend yourself to always being the volunteer, then you're always going to be volunteered for things, always. And so you just have to, set appropriate boundaries and say, no, I'd rather not, especially at these times of these days, or, you know what I mean? Come up with, like, legitimate, like, take care of yourself, and then, and act accordingly, because then when you finally, because damn it, it's going to feel so much better when you are ready, when it's like, you know what? I did clean my room. I did iron and hang up my clothes. I did take a shower, brush my teeth, all the hygienic stuff, all the everything. I read my newspaper this morning. I had my coffee. You know what? Fuck yeah, let's go. Like, it's gonna feel 10 times better when you finally are actually ready to hang out, or to be around people, or to help out, be that volunteer. It's cool to volunteer when you want to volunteer, and really that's the difference for you people pleasers out there, is you will regain your genuine love for helping others by helping yourself first, by taking care of yourself, and then positioning yourself in such a way that you are now totally prepared. Because if you are giving of your fumes, if you are giving of your emptiness, you're just going to grow to resent others. You're just going to grow to resent volunteering. You're going to grow to resent, and then it's going to spiral out of control, and you're going to be a husk of yourself, and not knowing, like, what even to do with yourself. And that sucks, because I've also been there. This last year was just the worst, because I did not know what to do. Just felt so empty, and just work was crazy, so demanding. 12-hour night shifts every night. I think my longest streak was like 11 nights in a row of a 12-hour night shift. Then I have stuff at home. I have family. Zero social life. I was on fumes. I was fucking done, and it broke me. It broke me eventually. It'll get to you if you don't take care of yourself. It will catch up to you and bite you in the ass, like, so hard. So I don't know. I guess that's what I want to talk about today. Is just I don't know. I want to relate to all my fellow pleasers out there. There are good qualities to it. You know, you're a giving person. You're a kind and selfless person. But shit, you are going to be miserable if you do not learn how to say no in appropriate ways at appropriate times. If you don't learn how to set boundaries of like, hey, this far and no further, please and thank you. This was, I really didn't like that you said that. That pissed me off. Like, frankly, that pissed me off. I felt like that was reaching. I felt like you were being really manipulative there. And if you want something, just ask me. But you don't have to go this roundabout way, Because that's another thing. I can sniff out manipulation from fucking miles away. Like, I can't stand manipulation because of the emotional intelligence. Like, nobody's going to get over on me ever unless I let them. Because unless I want to be seduced, I'm not getting seduced. Like, I fucking, you cannot bullshit this bullshitter. But yeah, so I don't know. There's cool stuff, but there's also, like I said, fuck, dude, just learn how to say no, learn how to set those boundaries, and take care of yourself. Life's too damn good and short to do anything other than that. So, to anyone that is living on fumes, to anyone that is giving their hearts away, their minds away, their lives, their time and energy away, stop. You're getting way too worked up about what everyone else in the room is thinking about. The good news is they're probably not thinking about you. 9 times out of 10, everyone always is thinking about themselves. Everyone is always thinking about themselves. It's all we know. It's a locked room up here. This is our whole experience. Our whole lifetime is just being spent with ourselves. So if you have that anxiety with people in a room, wondering, what are they thinking about your fashion choice or lack thereof, what they might be thinking of that joke you just told, they've already forgotten it. They're thinking about the shitty joke they just told a minute ago. They got not nearly as many laughs as yours did. All right, so just chill the fuck out. Everything's going to be gravy. And, I hope this has encouraged or helped anyone with these kind of similar strengths and weaknesses that I got to talk about today. Anyway, just thanks again, you guys, for tuning into these. And it's been real cathartic and helpful for me. It's a release. It's a creative outlet. And it's a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed talking to the air again with purpose because I've been doing it most of my life. Anywho, love y'all. Y'all take it easy. It's going to be a good one. All right? Later.